Today's video is why pneumonia is so dangerous. Every time you breathe in, air travels down the trachea through the shortest channel of a cold bronchi, finally reaches the lead cluster of air sacs called alveoli. There are some 600 million alveoli in the lungs, adding to surface area of 75 square meters, the size of a tennis court. This tiny sac, only 1 cent thick, facilitates a crucial exchange, allowing oxygen from the air we breathe into the bloodstream and cleaning out bronchial dioxide. Pneumonia risks having an exchange. Pneumonia is an infection of the alveoli that causes them filled with fluid. There are many different kinds of pathogens can cause pneumonia. The most common ones are viruses and bacteria. These microscopic invaders enter the body whether either in the air we breathe or when touch our eyes, noses, or mouth, often touching contaminated surface. Then they visit the respiratory tract's first line of defense, the mucociliary escalator. The mucociliary escalator consists of mucus that traps invader and tiny hairs called cilia to carry the mucus through the mouth where we can be caught out. But some of these invaders may pass the mucociliary area into the lung where they meet the alveoli. Because alveoli helps the critical exchange between the blood and air from the outside world, they have on the specialized type of blood cell or macrophages, which defends against organisms by enveloping and eating them. When pathogens enter the lung, the macrophages work to destroy them. The immune system releases additional white blood cells in the alveoli to help. As these immune cells face the pathogen, they generate inflammation and fluid as byproducts of inflammation. When this fluid builds up, the mist gets inside the alveoli much more difficult. As the level of carbon dioxide in the bloodstream began to rise, the body breathes more quickly to try to clear it and get oxygen in. This rapid breathing is one of the most common symptoms of pneumonia. The body also tries to force the fluid out of the alveoli through coughing. Determining the cause of pneumonia can be difficult, but once it's established, doctors can prescribe antibiotics, which may include either antibacterial or antiviral treatments. Treatments with antibiotics help the body get the infection under control. As pathogen is cleared out, the body gradually expels or absorbs fluid and dead cells. The worst symptoms typically fade out in about a week. The full recovery may take as long as a month. Otherwise, healthy adults can often manage pneumonia at home, but for some cases, pneumonia can be a lot more severe, require hospitalization as oxygen, artificial ventilation, or other supportive measures with the body fighting the infection. Smoking damages the cilia, making them less able to clear a normal amount of mucus secretion, let alone the increased volume associated with pneumonia. Generic and autoimmune disorder can make somewhat more susceptible pathogens that can cause pneumonia. Young children and the elderly also have impaired clearance, weakened immune systems, and if pneumonia, their risk of acute respiratory infection is higher. Many of the deaths from pneumonia are due to lack of access to health care, but sometimes, even with the proper care, the body enters a state of fibrosis and can't maintain. Activating inflammatory pathways throughout the body, not just in the lungs. This is actually a protective mechanism, but after too long in this state, organs start shutting down, causing shock and sometimes death. So how can we prevent pneumonia? Eating well and getting enough sleep and exercise helps the body fight off its infections. Vaccines can protect against common pneumonia-causing pathogens, while washing your hands regularly helps prevent the spread of this pathogen and protecting those most vulnerable to severe pneumonia. Every time you breathe in, air travels down the trachea through the series of channels called bronchi, finally reach a little cluster of air sacs called alveoli. There are some 600 million alveoli in the lung, adding to surface area of 11 square meters, the size of a tennis court. This tiny sac, only 1 cell thick, facilitates closest exchange, allowing oxygen from the air we breathe into the bloodstream and cleaning out carbon dioxide. Pneumonia wreaks havoc on the exchange. Pneumonia is an infection of alveoli that causes them filled with fluid. There are many diverse kinds of pathogens that can cause pneumonia. The most common ones are viruses or bacteria. These microscopic invaders enter the body via droplets either in the air we breathe or when it touches our eyes, noses, or mouth after touching contaminated surface. Then they fix the fast tract first line defense, the mucociliary escalator. The mucociliary escalator consists of mucus that traps invader and tiny hairs called cells to carry the mucosis toward the mouth, working best cough out. But some of these invaders may pass the mucociliary escalator into the lung, where they meet the alveoli. Because alveoli serve as a critical exit point between the blood and the outside world, they have their own special type of white blood cell or macrophages, which defends foreign organisms by enveloping and eating them. When pathogens enter the lung, the microbes evolve to destroy them. The immune system releases additional white blood cells in the alveoli to help. As these immune cells fight the pathogen, they generate inflammation and fluid as a byproduct of inflammation. When these fluids build up, they make the exchange inside the alveoli much more difficult. As the level of carbon dioxide in the bloodstream begins to rise, the body breathes more quickly to try to clear it and get more oxygen in. This rapid breathing is one of the most common symptoms of pneumonia. This body also tries to force the fluid out of the alveoli through coughing. Determining the cause of pneumonia can be difficult, but once it's established, doctors can prescribe antibiotics, which may include either antibacterial and antiviral treatments. Treatment with antibiotics helps the body get the infection under control. As the pathogen is cleared out, the body gradually expels or absorbs fluid and dead cells. The worst symptoms typically fade out in about a week, though full recovery may take as long as a month. Otherwise, healthy adults can often manage pneumonia at home, but for some groups, pneumonia can be a lot more severe, requiring hospitalization next season, artificial ventilation, or other supportive measures while body fighting the infection. Smoking damages the cilia, making them less able to clear the normal amount of mucus and secretion, let alone the increased volume associated with pneumonia. Genetic and autoimmune disorder can make some more sustainable pathogens that can cause the pneumonia. Young children and the elderly also have impaired clearance and weaker immune systems, and except viral pneumonia, their risk of bacterial respiratory infection is higher. Many of deaths from pneumonia due to lack of access to health care, but sometimes, without appropriate care, the body enters a state of fight against infection it can't maintain, activating bacterial pathways throughout the body, not just in the lungs. This is actually a protective mechanism, but after too long in this stage, organs start shutting down, causing shock and sometimes death. So how can it prevent pneumonia? Eating well and getting up and sleep and exercise help the body fight that infection. Vaccines can protect against common pneumonia-causing pathogens, while washing your hands regularly helps prevent the spread of the pathogen and protects those most vulnerable to severe pneumonia. When it comes to keeping your hands clean and germ-free, which works better, soup or hand sanitizer?